that World Series last year, it was among the best that we've seen. Did you feel that in the moment, that what was going on was something that we were going to look back at and say, this is special?
You've done more of them than me. Go ahead.
Shoot, honestly, we were fighting for our lives. I thought they were the best team. I thought they were the best team in the postseason. Just the way they played baseball, and early on, people talking about David and Goliath, which was a joke. But and then obviously we got behind the 8 ball after that, after Game 3, and so I didn't appreciate that until getting to Game 7. I think for me, it's like once we got to Game 7, I felt that it was going to be one of the greatest series of all time. Either way, obviously we're both trying to win the game, but I felt that point, then you sort of try to lock back in and win a game.
Yeah, very similar for me, because when you're in it, you're just in it. And I remember texting Doc after the 18-inning game, like kind of just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think you kind of go through it, and there's so many instances, so many great performances, great plays, weird plays, historic plays that kind of happened. So when you're in it and you're living it and you're managing it, you're kind of just absorbing it. And it wasn't until a couple of weeks after where you sit back and go, wow, that was pretty epic.
I appreciate the fact that you guys have brought up multiple games in this series, because I feel like you can't tell the story of Game 7 without acknowledging what is happening in the first 6 that led up to it, that built up to it. I love that this series had so much going on that we can just casually breeze past a guy throwing a complete game in the World Series for the first time in a decade.
His second one in the postseason.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we get to Game 3. I don't know, when I look back at that game, what I take away from it, because almost like Game 7, there was just so much. Time after time. Shohei Ohtani got on base 9 times that day.
I got to ask a question.
Yeah.
Was that, I know you don't want to put anybody on base.
Right, especially with your lineup.
With our lineup. But was there any thought to, he's pitching the next day and just kind of tax him? And
I was hoping he was going to steal everything.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna get him out on the bases. And there's a little bit of that too.
Because truth be told, he likes being on base, obviously, but then he's very conservative, understandably so. And then you're looking at the game next day that he's pitching, and he was on IVs or whatever it was. He was exhausted, cramping up. And then you look back, the dude is on base 9 times, and he was exhausted, which bled into the next day, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of, when we knew we were getting him Game 7 too, kind of on short rest, and I don't know how he does what he does, for one.
100%.
And I know that I've watched him, and you see him kind of go through his process of getting ready to pitch and then getting ready to hit. And then he's on base a lot. Then he's running. He's unbelievable first to third stealing bases. So part of it was, man, I just don't want to see you swing right now. And okay, maybe we can get you tired for tomorrow.
It worked.
Yeah, it's the first time I've said it publicly.
Yeah. No, because that's, and the thing is, and we were talking about that, and it was like, this brilliant. Because, even I asked him after that 18 game, I go, hey man, are you good to go tomorrow? And he's like, I'm pitching. But he did his IVs and left, but it just wasn't sharp, and because he was exhausted.
IVs. Is that a normal thing for him for that time
Will
of year?
Smith did it that night. We had a handful of guys, and then I asked Will Smith the same thing. I go, hey dude, 18 innings, we got Wart Vet, can you catch, Game 4? And he's like, I'm catching Game 4. And I go, all right.
So Shohei starts that next game. John, I want to read something that you said that night. It's easy to write that it's Ohtani versus Guerrero. To us, it's Toronto versus Los Angeles. And you're right.
I meant the Dodgers.
Right. No.
The city or the country.
No. Your general sentiment is right. As manager, that is how you have to approach this. But for all the rest of us, Ohtani versus Guerrero,
of course,
is the best.
Yeah.
And Vlad took him deep that night too. When you guys see matchups like that, are you able to take yourselves out of your role for even like a slightest little moment and say, damn, this is awesome getting to see two men who can do this on a baseball field going into battle one-on-one against each other.
Yeah, I can. You know, there's certain times, whether it's, you know, Aaron Judge in this building or Shohei or, you know, Freddie, you know, a lot of guys. The fan comes out of you for probably, you know, 5 seconds or so, and then you get back into managing mode. I tried to do that for the whole World Series. First time being there, take at least a minute or two a day to be a fan and appreciate the stuff, and then get back to managing. But when you get those matchups and it's game on the line and it's going to be a bad outcome for somebody, you know, and I'm glad I'm not doing it, but I enjoy it. It's tense, but I enjoy it. Yeah.
Well, I clearly don't, because the next time I walked Guerrero, because I didn't want to see that matchup, so I got burned by Bichette. So I don't know. I guess, you know, when I was sitting at home watching Trout versus Ohtani for the WBC a few years ago, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm on my couch.
Yeah.
But
There's definitely something to that.
I don't need to see, I wasn't happy to see Guerrero Yamamoto either. So, but no, all kidding aside, I do take moments to go, man, this is cool. But when the game's online, it's like, God, I would love 8 other guys outside of Guerrero or Judge at bat right now.
Definitely. I would have walked him too if I were you. I would have walked him too, for sure.
All of this is prelude to one single baseball game. Around the world, 50 million people are tuning in to watch this one single baseball game. Dave, you've managed Game 7s in the World Series before. John, this was your first. What do you guys remember from before first pitch that day? Was there anything, whether it was coming to the stadium the night before, the feeling you had, or something that happened pregame that stands out to you from that day?
I think for me, I try to slow things down. I try to really, you know, slow things down. I don't want to be too tense. I kind of intentionally try not to be too like locked in too early, because I think that, you know, when players, coaches see me so like intense, I feel that naturally, organically is going to happen as we get closer to game time. So I wouldn't say I was kind of loosey-goosey, but I was more relaxed and I guess really just trying to slow things down and trying to get clarity on who's available and kind of things like that. And also trying to think about how he's going to use Scherzer and how long is he going to go and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was eerily similar where, you know, my wife and boys were here. I left my condo here at the exact same time every postseason game. So I do try to be deliberately consistent with my thoughts, my actions, and just my messages to the guys and the staff and everyone in this building. So I remember that. I remember leaving. I remember walking the same way and doing the exact same thing that I had done every single day. And then it was, again, eerily similar. You go through your routine. You go through what you do to physically and mentally get ready. You have your meetings. You go out. There's obviously some media, but I tried to make it as normal. The biggest thing was the pitching. And it was how long is Shohei going to go on 3 days rest? Yeah. We don't know about Glasnow. He pitched the night before, albeit 4 pitches. You know, I thought in my mind, I said, there's no way Yamamoto's pitching today. I swear to you. And when I saw him get up in the bullpen, I was just like dumbfounded. But so we're trying to walk through all of that. Just like he's trying to walk through all of it. Like when's the first move going to happen? And then what do you do?
Yeah, because even like setting the lineup, you know, you just want to kind of, because Scherz did a good job of going deeper, and then that kind of wasn't helpful for us, you know, because I try to set it to make it tougher for him to hopefully eject from Max to start that bullpen carousel. But to Max's credit, he did what he does and, you know, gave them more length, and obviously they caught a lead too.
All right, so I think when we look back on this game, we take for granted that both starting pitchers are first ballot inner circle Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Like Shohei Ohtani versus Max Scherzer. And I understand Max is in his 40s now. I don't care. He's still Max Scherzer. He's always going to be Max Scherzer. He is going to stare you down with the both of you have seen the crazy eyes of Max Scherzer. Like you
don't touch him in between and during an outing. Yeah,
I learned that.
I've learned that lesson too. I learned it during a game.
Ohtani though is just I mean, he's the most incredible player any of us have ever seen, and I think probably will ever see. John, what is it like trying to game plan for Shohei Ohtani?
Hard, right? Because his stuff can almost make him two separate pitchers. He can go force him at the top split. He can go sideways with a sweep. It's hard. He controls the running game. It's just really difficult to try to narrow in on something. So we tried to the best we could, you match up guys' swings versus what you think you have a better shot at. Are you a guy that can get on top of the four and maybe lay off something down low? Also throws in the curveball too, which is, do you sit on that? You know what I mean? 0-0 or something. You got to take some chances. You got to sell out. I think when Vlad has clipped them, it's been on breaking balls that are up. And, it's a really unique look because he's so long. He gets so much extension too on the heater. So he's tough, man.
Dave, what is it like to manage Shohei Ohtani?
It's actually, the hard part is, it's easy. It's easy. The hard part is the media in the sense that everything, I got to make sure that what I say is clear and doesn't get misconstrued because, you're talking about media here in the States and then media in Japan and certainly could get overblown. And I think our jobs, a lot of times, you don't want things to get lost in translation with your players because it travels fast and they're in tune with everything. Shohei reads everything. That's one part I really got to be mindful of. As far as the player, very hands-off. He's very disciplined in his routine. It's interesting that when he's a hitter, he's a little bit more jovial and like open.
You can see that.
You can see that, right?
Yeah.
And then when he's pitching, there's like an alter ego. And that's really interesting. But to be honest with you, I don't really manage him. I kind of just stay out of the way and let him do his thing. And there's a lot of players that feel like I always say that players need to be told they're pretty. Shohei's not one of them. He just does his own thing. He's not looking side-eyeing to see if I see what he's doing. He just does his thing, which is amazing. I do marvel at what he does. It's pretty special, obviously.
I remember we obviously met with him, right? The big meeting with Shohei a couple of years ago before he signs with LA. And the one thing that stood out to that meeting to me was we were talking about, we knew he was coming off Tommy John, and we were talking about pitching and what it would be like if he pitched for us. So we asked him if he had any questions about that. And I was there set to like kind of give the rundown on like what we thought we could do with him. And he just said, through translation about pitching is, no, I'm good. I was like, okay. Next thing.
He is like that. No, he is like that.
Like he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. And I will say the other part that is hard is like when we were building him up, I do believe things happen for a reason with my faith, but it's like with Shohei, you don't want to get him hurt. And so there are things of like when he's pitching, it's like, do I push him or it's got to make sense because if it doesn't and it goes awry, I don't want that on my record, and obviously there's a lot of things that you just can't control. But with a player like that, just really trying to be mindful of the workload and the pitches and all that kind of stuff.
That's got to be wild, just in terms of how we can track stuff these days and with his bullpens, his catch play, his swings, like that's got to be wild for you to stay on top of. Just with regular players, I don't want to say regular, one-way players, it's hard to do.
Right.
I can't imagine with that.
Yeah.
The day before, in this room, you said everyone's available. Jack Harris follows up with a question, even Yamamoto? And you said, no. When did that change?
That was for sure right before. That's gamesmanship because I didn't want them to know that he was available. Did I know he was 100% available? No. But I'm not going to say he's available to then have Yamamoto on their radar at all.
Was he on your radar?
Hell yeah. But I was still surprised. I was still surprised because the momentum is a real thing. What he had done to us, in game 2 and game 6, you're like, damn, that is a tough freaking matchup right now. So I was just more surprised that he was physically able to do it. But I mean, we even like Gauze was about to get his spikes on. He threw the night before. It was kind of the same way. Now, could he have given us 40 pitches? Like what Yamamoto did is historic. It is a legendary performance on the biggest stage of this game. It is. That will go.
And not to mention, in game 3, he got loose and he was hot.
Yeah, like who is this guy?
That's after pitching game 2, so he gets hot. Well, he was hot in the pen.
CG in 2, dry humped in 3.
Yep.
96 pitches in 6.
Yeah, 6 innings, 96 pitches in 6. And we'll get to 7.
I like the way you said dry hump because we can't say that. You can say that.
Got him hot, didn't get him. Yeah. I will say this: because I think Yamamoto came out in the 6th inning of Game 6. I believe it was the 6th, and I turned to Mark Budzinski, who was in after that half inning. I said, I think that might have just won us a series, just because at that point I didn't think he'd pitch Game 7, and then afterwards I was like, okay. He's probably going to fucking pitch.
I believe it was bottom 8 when Yamamoto starts warming up.
Okay. I guess.
I think. I tried to look back at the broadcast. I tried to look back on Twitter. I couldn't find that exact moment. Do you remember, though, making that phone call?
I do. I told Mark, because we knew that he was going to pitch. And for me, you're just trying to figure out when to deploy him because you don't know what you got as far as how many bullets he has. So I think that at that point in time, we exhausted, 4 or 5 pitchers or whatever. And it was like, all right, this is the time. And I think I brought him into an inning, right? Did I bring him into an inning?
You did. Well, let's...
You brought him in the 9th.
Yeah, he came in
Okay,
in the
so
9th.
I started warming him up in the 8th.
Yeah.
Who was pitching in the 8th inning?
Snell.
Okay, so Snell was pitching.
Yes.
And
Vladdy 3-0.
Yep.
Fly out. Bo single.
And it started getting a little fuzzy for him. And then again, we're trying to keep this game where it is, and we can't afford to give any more runs because I think Glass gave up an extra run, that 4th run.
I mean, you guys, you load the bases in the top. Yamamoto comes back, 1, 2, 3 inning, pumping 97.
Yeah, that inning, that inning is a blur to me. I think that
he was up he was down 3-0 against Springer, and came back,
punched him out.
Yeah. 6 straight strikes, and finally got him.
Yeah,
punched him out there. Miles Straw ends up punching on 97.
Yeah. Yeah, because I had pinch hit Schneid against Snell to try to add on in the 8th, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And then I was like, when he came off the mound that time, I was like, hey, how are you doing? And he goes, Daijobu. And that means I'm good. And so that's when I was like, okay, because he had a good inning. And I'm like, how much can I push this guy? Because I don't want to hurt this guy.
Yeah.
How much did you think you could push him?
I thought that was going to be it. But the stuff was so good. And, I was going to go to Kirsch, and I was just kind of trying to figure out, because at that point in time, Roki didn't have a good postseason. He was good in Philly. And then for me, I just felt the confidence was wavering. The stuff wasn't good. I thought they had a really good beat on him. And so it was going to be Kirsch, and, I was going to just ride with Kirsch. But I wanted to see how much I can get out of Yamamoto.
What did Yoshinobu Yamamoto do that night in that series? How do you characterize and contextualize what he was able to do going back after Game 6, going back after the CG in Game 2, and giving you those 2+ innings in Game 7?
I mean, he just got into legendary status. I mean, you mentioned earlier, 50 million people were watching that game. And, obviously everyone talks about Shohei, but this guy, he was the MVP of arguably the greatest World Series in history. And as a pitcher. And so what he did relative to modern day pitching, starting pitching, it's legendary status. I mean, and he would have probably been disappointed if I would have taken him out, and I don't even want to think about how many pitches he threw, including warming up, because it'll make me throw up. So I'm just happy that there are no sliding doors, and
John, that night, Jeff Hoffman says, I cost everyone a World Series ring. Which, you know, a player's going to do that,
right,
especially in that moment. But when you hear something like that, how do you give a player the understanding that this was something bigger than just him individually?
Yeah, that's what closers are going to say. That's what accountable people are going to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for one, I think anyone in the room would say that, but in our room, they were going to say that, but it's bigger than that, Hoff. I mean, it is, baseball happened. You were the right guy for the right time, and the stars didn't align for that moment. So how are you, the thing that we've really tried to talk about, and me more so with specific guys that were highlighted in some of these spots we're talking about, is this will not define you or this will not define us, but how we got there and how we then move on from it will, because it's an unbelievable life experience and professional experience for these guys. And if it doesn't make you better, then you're just missing out on it. So by no means did Jeff cost us the World Series. By no means did anyone cost us the World Series. The Dodgers earned the World Series. So that's what I want my guys to think about.
Is there any solace to take in being part of something great if you don't win?
You know, it's hard for me to say yeah, but yeah, it really is, you know, because there is the thing, you know, hey, 29 teams are going to feel like they didn't accomplish their goal, right? It's so hard to be that last team. But I think what we did in terms of elevating the standards and expectations here and forming an identity and doing things that are sustainable and doing it with a lot of cohesiveness, I think is real. And I think that not only did we realize that, the baseball world realized that. And Dave, thank you for the compliments of the toughness. That's what we want to be viewed as, you know. And I think that for the first time since probably 2015 and 16, the world can say that about us. So I think that is what you look back on and say, okay, yeah, damn, I feel good about that.
And I think that it's like, I try to get our players to, you know, play for things bigger than themselves, right? And we all do. And these guys, you know, had a whole country behind them. And I was just taking an Uber today, and he was like, what you guys did, what the Blue Jays did for our country needed that.
That's
and it's
cool.
like, that is like, are you kidding me? It's like, we play a game, we coach a game. And then so to kind of look at it like that, that's how you got to look at it. I've lost 2 World Series. And so it's not easy. You know, I wanted to kind of crawl into a hole, and it sucks. But then you have a little bit of like, I got to be a part of it. We didn't fail. We didn't win. We weren't the last team standing, but it's like, there's a lot of success, certainly with what they did. And, you know, the relevance to where they, you know, when John took this job, and Mark Shapiro is a good friend of mine, and Ross, I played with Ross Atkins, you know, the minors, and like what these guys have done with character people, it's like, it's pretty cool to see from the other side, but I hope we can do it again.
That'd be fun.
Wouldn't be too bad
Yeah.
if we got a repeat of the 2025 World Series. Did you guys text anymore, by the way? Aside from after Game 3, when you said, like, were you guys communicating during it,
No,
or was that just?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
It was just one moment.
I think,
I think that was it. I got to give you my number. I just changed my number too, so I got to give my new.
I did too.
Oh, okay.
Serious problem.
I know. So I changed my number, so I'll give you my new number.
Okay, perfect.
Dave, I understand that every ring is like a child, and you love them all the same. Was this one more special, though, just because of how great the baseball was, how great the series was, how evenly matched the teams were, how much it brought out of you?
I think if I had to, you know, really pick one, I'd probably so. And I say that because in 2020, it was just a crazy time in our world. It was our first one. And I don't believe that there's an asterisk. Some people do. The one in 24 was like relief, you know, beating the Yankees. We kind of were in the driver's seat a lot of that series. And this one felt like I really got to enjoy it. And I think that it's all a blur, but I do think that this is my most favorite. Yeah.
This was your first.
Yeah.
So it is.
First of many.
Hopefully. Thank you. Hopefully. But hopefully you get back there. I remember looking at Donnie Baseball, who's been doing his whole life, and it's his first one too. And it's just like, how cool is this? I get to do this with you. You know, that's only reason I sent him out for the lineup cards the first game.
I was going to say that.
You know what I mean? Just because he's my favorite player growing up, you know, like the fan in me is like, hey, I'm managing this team. I want to go to the plate, but I just got too much respect for Donnie to not do that.
I noticed that. That was very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was
class.
Donnie's my guy.
I think there's mutual respect, not just between the teams, but between you guys too. You know, Dave, you had the ultimate joy. John, that's heartbreak. That's as rough as it can get. And yet you guys love the game to the point where you're talking about it now. And I'm very appreciative of your time, of your insight, your honesty, your candor, and everything. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining Sources Tell Jeff Passan.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate it.
最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。今回の動画についてどういう感想を持たれましたか？ぜひコメント欄で意見や感想をお聞かせください。チャンネル登録やグッドボタンを押していただけると励みになります。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。